King Solomon is one of the most fascinating figures in the Bible, renowned for his wisdom, wealth, and leadership. His reign over Israel marked an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity. But Solomon's story is also one of contrasts, as his life journey explores the heights of glory and the depths of human frailty. Join us as we explore the life of King Solomon, the man chosen by God to build his temple. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content on biblical figures and lessons. Born as the second son of King David and Bathsheba, Solomon was not the obvious choice to inherit the throne of Israel. Yet God had other plans. In the closing days of King David's reign, a struggle for succession ensued. David's older son Adonijah attempted to claim the throne. But in a dramatic turn of events, the prophet Nathan and Bathsheba intervened, reminding David of his promise to make Solomon the next king. David swiftly acted to ensure Solomon's ascension. In 1 Kings 1:39, we read how Solomon was anointed king at the Gihon Spring by Zadok, the priest, and Nathan the prophet. Solomon was likely around 20 years old when he became king, and though young, he quickly displayed a wisdom and maturity beyond his years. Not long after ascending to the throne, Solomon had an encounter that would define his reign. The Bible tells us in 1 Kings 3 that the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream at Gibeon. God asked him a question that would test the very essence of his heart. "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Instead of requesting wealth or power, Solomon asked for something far more valuable. He prayed, "Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong." God was so pleased with Solomon's humility that he granted not only wisdom, but also unmatched wealth and honor. Solomon's wisdom became legendary. In fact, the Bible records that people from all over the world came to witness his wisdom, including the Queen of Sheba, who marveled at his understanding. Perhaps one of the most famous examples of Solomon's wisdom is found in the story of two women who came to him, each claiming to be the mother of the same baby. In 1 Kings 3:16-28, Solomon faced a dilemma. The two women stood before him, both insisting that the child was theirs. To test their reactions, Solomon ordered the baby to be cut in two, giving half to each woman. While one woman agreed, the true mother cried out to spare the child, offering to give him up if it meant saving his life. Solomon's wisdom shone through as he immediately recognized the true mother and returned the child to her, demonstrating his ability to discern human nature. One of Solomon's greatest legacies was the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem, a task his father, David, had longed to complete. Solomon spared no effort in building the temple to honor the Lord. With cedar from Lebanon, gold, and precious stones, the temple was a marvel of ancient architecture. It stood as a symbol of Israel's devotion to God and a place where his presence could dwell among his people. In 1 Kings 8, after 7 years of construction, Solomon dedicated the temple with an awe-inspiring prayer, asking God to hear the prayers of his people and to bless Israel. The Bible tells us that when Solomon finished praying, fire came down from heaven to consume the burnt offering, and the glory of the Lord filled the temple. The dedication of the temple marked the spiritual high point of Solomon's reign. Solomon's reign was not only marked by wisdom and spiritual accomplishments, but also by immense wealth and international fame. Israel flourished under his rule, and Solomon's wealth became the stuff of legends. He controlled key trade routes, amassed vast quantities of gold, and built an empire that stretched from Egypt to the Euphrates River. One of the most famous visitors to Solomon's court was the Queen of Sheba. Her kingdom is traditionally thought to have been located in either Ethiopia, Yemen, or the surrounding regions. However, the exact location remains a matter of debate among historians, with no definitive proof of where Sheba truly was. The Bible recounts in 1 Kings 10 how the Queen of Sheba came to test Solomon with difficult questions. She was overwhelmed by his wisdom, the splendor of his court, and his immense wealth. She declared, "The report I heard in my own country about your achievements and your wisdom is true. But I did not believe these things until I came and saw with my own eyes. Her visit not only highlights Solomon's global fame, but also symbolizes the far-reaching influence of Israel during his reign. But as wise and powerful as Solomon was, his life took a tragic turn in the later years of his reign. Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, many of them foreign princesses. While these marriages were likely political alliances, they came with spiritual consequences. Solomon's foreign wives turned his heart away from God, leading him into idolatry. He built altars to foreign gods like Ashtoreth, Chemosh, and Molech, gods detestable to the Lord. In 1 Kings 11, we read how the Lord became angry with Solomon for abandoning his commandments. Although God did not tear the kingdom away from Solomon during his lifetime, he promised to divide the kingdom after his death. This marked the beginning of Israel's decline and the eventual split into the northern and southern kingdoms. King Solomon reigned for 40 years over Israel, leaving behind a legacy that continues to influence history, theology, and culture. He is credited with writing significant portions of the Old Testament, including Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon. His wisdom, though not without flaw, offered deep insight into the human condition, the pursuit of meaning, and the relationship between God and man. While Solomon's reign ended in spiritual decline, his achievements, particularly the construction of the temple and his wisdom, would be remembered for generations to come. The story of Solomon is a reminder of the power of wisdom, the dangers of compromise, and the enduring grace of God's promises. In the end, Solomon's life invites us to seek wisdom, not only for personal success, but to live in accordance with God's will. The story of Solomon is both inspiring and sobering. It is a story of incredible gifts given by God, wisdom, wealth, and power. But it is also a warning about the dangers of turning away from God's commands. As we reflect on his life, let us remember the lessons of Solomon: to seek wisdom, to guard our hearts, and to walk humbly with God. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of faith, wisdom, and history.